So today we are going to animate objects, okay, which is you can draw a curve. Okay, so first of all, you need to create a new composition. So you can click new composition here, and then we set up our name of the composition, such as lesson 4. And then we're setting the size. Okay, the size it should be full high definition, 25 frames per second. Set up animation for 5 seconds only. If you'd like to have a background, you may using the layer and go to new and create a new solid. You can change the color or the background, and you can click OK. So here's the background. So before you really draw a curve, remember you need to deselect everything. So you can just click on the empty space like this, and then you can go to using the pen tool. This is the pen tools because I'm going to draw a curve, so I don't need to have the fill color. So I may click on the fill options and then choose none. Click OK and then go to stroke, and then I can change to the second one, the solid color. And then I can change the color that I want. For example, I may draw the yellow line, and I can also adjust the width of the stroke, the weight of the stroke. Okay, so let's say we're going to draw a curve. Okay, so you can click and can using the handle here to adjust the curvature of your shapes, and you can draw whatever you want, but you may think about the composition. Okay, no matter what you draw, you need to think about your composition. If you don't like the line that you have been drawn, actually, you can adjust later. Okay, let's say this is my curve. Okay, if I would like to adjust the curve again, I can using the pen tool, I can using the convert vertex tool, and then I can further adjust the shape, or I can adjust this one, or even I can adjust the position of each of the vertex. Okay, so that you can adjust until you are satisfied with the shapes that you have been drawn. Okay, so let's say this is the curve that I like. Okay, so after you finish drawing the line, okay, you make this is my curve. I can rename it, so I can just select the layer and then click enter, and then I can change the name for such as curve. Okay, so go to the curve layer. You can expand the menu, and then you can see the contents. Okay, so that you can see another menu here, which is add. You can click here and then go to choose trim path. And then you can see there's a 3 attributes that you can adjust here, start, end, and offset. Let's say we are going to draw a curve from nothing, from our. So let's say I start key, adding the first key here. I switch on the stopwatch next to end. I change the value here into 0. So once you see I change the value into 0, you can see that all my curve is gone missing. Okay, so let me extend the layers a bit. Okay, so you can see I have got the first keyframe. So I need to add another key. Let's say I go to 2 seconds. I change the value here into 100%. So you can see after I input 100%, you can see the curve is here again. So you can just play back my animation by using the space bar, and then you can see that. is my animation. Okay, so there's two keys so that you can also adjust the speed by using the graph editor here. Okay, so you can see this is my curve. Okay, but you can see that this is a straight line. Straight line means that it is a constant speed, so you can adjust the curve. Let's say I would like to have the animation slower at the beginning. No, faster at the beginning and slow at the end. So you can see how I adjust my curve. So you can see that the curve is now drawn, but faster at the beginning and slower at the end. So you can see at the beginning it's faster. Okay. On the other hand, if you want to change the animation again, if you want to adjust the timing, okay, if I adjust the curve like this, it will make that the curve will draw slowly at the beginning and fast at the end. So you can see the result slower. You can see at the beginning it's much slower, but almost the end of the curve is much faster. Okay, so you may adjust here. Once you finish adjusting the timing, you can just go back, click the graph editor again so that I can just see the keyframe instead of a curve. Okay, so you can also using the start to make this curve go away, okay, to disappear again. Let's say I set another key here at about 3.5 seconds. I set the animation here, start is 0, and then after 1 second, it will become 100%. Okay, so I've got the animation that the curve will go away, disappear. So you can see first it draw and then disappear. Okay, so you can see that how I adjust the value or setting the key at end and also at start. So this is the first exercise that we've been done. So let me try another one. Okay, I can make this layer invisible so that I can start everything over again. So you can using your pen tool to draw any kind of curve that you like, some irregular shape. Okay, but if you would like to draw a circle, okay, you may also do it. Okay, before you draw and other graphics, remember you need to click on the empty space again before you draw anything. For example, I like to draw a circle. So I go to the ellipse tool. And this time I draw a circle. Sorry. So you can see this is my circle. Okay. So you can also draw a square or any other shapes. Okay, so I rename this layer again. I press enter and I change the name into circle so that I know what is this layer is. And then I can just repeat the same steps that we have just done. For example, we go to the curve, circle, go to content, add. I also using the trim path, and then you can see here. Okay, so let's try again. Okay, I can using the N, okay, and setting 0 at the beginning, and at 2 seconds, I set 100% here. So you can see that it's quite similar to what you have been done, but you can looking at here, you can see that the curve is starting from here, starting at the top here. But how can I change to anywhere that I like? Let's say I would like that curve is starting here, starting from this direction. Okay, how can I do it? Actually, I can use offset. Yeah, I can using the offset so that I can change it. So you can see once I change the value here, you can see the starting point have been changed. Okay, so let's say I would like to change here. So when you're looking at my animation again, you can see my animation is start from the left hand side instead of here. Okay, so that you can learn how to using the offset to change the starting position. Okay, so I make this layer invisible again, and then I show another one. Okay, this time I would like to create a curve and also create a shape, and then the shape will follow the path to move. Okay, so first of all, I need to click on the empty space again. Okay, remember every time you draw something, remember to click on the empty space, and then I draw the curve. Okay, so let me draw. Let me draw again. Uh, Okay, let's say I draw a curve something like this. I can also using the convert vertex tool to adjust the curve, the shapes, or even you can change the position of the vertex. Okay, so that you can adjust whatever you want. Okay, after you finish it, done. Okay, and I can also adjust the width or the weight of this curve. Okay, so you can see this is my path. So I name this layer as path. Okay, and then after I drawing the path, I need to draw a shape. Okay, because the shapes will follow this path to move. Okay, so let's say I will draw a square shapes. Remember before you draw, remember to click on the empty space. Okay, so I would like to have a right outline, and then I create an color. Maybe I using a blue color. Okay, I can set up the width here. So this is my shape. Okay, so you can see. But remember, before we do anything, okay, remember to set a point. Okay, I click on this square shapes. Okay, I find that the center point is not in a correct position. So I'm using the pen behind tool to move the center point to the center of the shapes. Okay, I can using the snapping function here. Okay, so that it can helping me to make sure that it's on the center, at the center. Okay, so this is my shapes. Okay, and then I need to change the layer, the lane of the layer. Maybe I call it square. So I have two things. Okay, one is the path, and the other one is the square. So what I'm going to do is I need to extend the layer a bit first. Okay, so I go to the path here. Remember to select the correct layer. This is the path. Go to the contents, shape 1, path 1, and click path. You can see the stopwatch here. I select the path and then I go to edit, copy. Okay, again, then you go back to your squares and then you go to the transform, go to the position. And then if I would like to have the animation start at 1 second, I will put put this one at 1 second, and then I edit and paste. So you can see that all the keyframe will be pasted here. So when you're looking at my animation here, you can see that the square will follow the path to move. Okay, so